wanted to talk about that. Just be aware that things are going to take a little bit more time. Now I'm going to give you a really big tool for success. I know with some of your other classes that you can say to yourself, I've got this quiz due or this paper due, and I'm going to sit down on a certain night, not even the night before, but maybe you have one day planned to work on it, and you just kind of power through it and knock it out. And I get that. But that's going to be tough in statistics because your brain is going to get tired and you're going to get really frustrated and you're going to make little mistakes that if you were more fresh, if your eyes and your brain were a little more clear, you would not make those mistakes and things would be a little bit easier for you. So my point is that an hour a day is going to be much more productive than 4 hours on one day. So I know I'm saying this to really busy people, but if you can, try to schedule out a little bit of time to work on things every day. Here's another reason to do that. First of all, every time you attempt the problem set, you're going to be exposed to problems again. You're going to get faster on them, and that's going to help you with the test. But what I really want to say is, when you encounter a problem, it gives you time to find solutions for it. So let's talk about what do I do if I am just stuck on a certain problem, because you're going to see that again on the test, right? So you want to make sure you learn how to do it. Don't just keep missing the same things. Let me tell you a resource that worked for me. Some years ago, when they tapped me on the shoulder and said, we need you to teach business statistics, it had been a while since I had even thought about statistics, and I hadn't been teaching it and all that, so I really had to come back up to speed. I turned to YouTube, and I recommend that to you. In fact, I've made YouTube videos for my students in the past demonstrating how to solve certain problems. You'll even find me out there. Some videos are better than others, quite frankly, that's just kind of how it goes. I think I still have some links to those in pause in the content area, so be on the lookout for those, okay? But that's a really good source of information. Another great suggestion is to do the extra credit that I've given you. First of all, because you're going to earn extra credit points, and so that's why it's so great. But second of all, I tell you how to use Excel to solve some of these problems. And so I'm really marching you through the problem-solving process in a way that is very repeatable in Excel. If you get stuck, something doesn't work, guess what? You can email me that Excel spreadsheet and I can look at it, and that might be a tool that we can use via email to help identify where you're running into a problem, okay? So YouTube, the extra credit assignments, or maybe I should say extra credit assignments, YouTube, some other things you can email me as you have questions. Form study groups. Even though you're an online class, you might all be able to meet at a campus library or a Starbucks or whatever works for you. The Academic Support Center. Even if you say to them, I need help with business statistics, they may say we don't have a specific business statistics tutor available. You will find that there's a lot of crossover with our probability and statistics class. So if they have a probability and statistics tutor, a lot of times those folks are graduate students, and so I'm going to guess that they're going to be able to help you. What not to do. The thing not to do is to remain in silence and frustration, and that can happen to the best of us folks. It really can, so make sure you reach out and get help. Okay, so I want to talk to you about that. Scrolling down the page a little bit, I also want to remind you the date of the recording of this video is February the 20th, and you see the due date for our first test is the 22nd, so you have 2 days. Notice the test is divided into 4 parts. In this way, you can take breaks as you work. So, knock out part 1 and then, go get something to eat, or, take a little rest break, go for a run or something. Come back and work part 2. But again, this is something that if you try to do it all in one day, I think you're going to feel like you're just, hitting a brick wall. It's going to be uphill all the way because you're going to get tired as you work on these test parts. Now, so far, only 3 students have gone out there and started working. 1 of you is through 3 parts of the test. 2 of you are through 2 parts of the test. But I need all of you to be well into this test with only 2 days to go. You'll notice you only have one attempt on the homework. I let you do unlimited attempts to practice, practice, practice. Here I want you to show me what you know. Go out there and prove that you can do it. But the problems in these tests are going to come directly from the problem sets. Where are the instructions for the test? In pause. Log into pause. Click the link to enter our class. Then click the content link. On the left-hand side of the screen, you're going to see, I could show you, but I have to log in as a student. Hang on just a minute. Okay, so here I am in pause, going quickly. My student account is obviously not connected to that. Okay, let me go back the other way. Hang on. Okay, my screen's going to look just a little bit different than your screen, so bear with me. It's going to be close enough for you to follow. Log into pause, click the link to enter our class, and then up here where it says content, that's where you want to click. And then over here on the left-hand side, yours may not come up to exam number 1. You might be at something like table of contents or getting started. So if so, this middle part will be different. You might have to scroll down to where you see exam 1. Sometimes when you click these categories, the content, you'll say, where is it? There's nothing on my page, so scroll up. What you'll see is just one document, exam number 1 instructions. You'll click that to open that page. Be patient because it does take these PDF files a second or two to load, okay? So make sure that you're giving time for that. I tell you how much time for each part of the exam, how many points, due dates, all the password that you're going to need to get into the exam, and all that good stuff. So make sure you read these instructions, because you're going to be responsible for the content in there. So you want to make sure you do that, okay? All right, so exam instructions, the exam due date's coming up. You know that going forward, as we even look forward into the things coming next, your next test is going to be after only 2 chapters. But again, we're going to, the first part, I expect that you had some familiarity with some of these concepts. And so as we keep going forward, expect to spend a little bit more time, expect it to be a little bit more difficult, but it's nothing you can't do, okay? It's nothing you can't do. What do? Check out the extra credit. It's going to be really helpful with these chapters. Go to YouTube. Go to the Academic Support Center, study groups. Email me when you are stuck. Now, let me give you one note on the most productive emails for you. When you email me and say, I don't get it, then we're going to have to go back and forth a bunch of times on email. We can do it, not a problem, but it tends to frustrate you because you say, why isn't she helping me? Why isn't she helping me? Well, I'm trying, but I don't know what the problem is. And so first we have to figure out what the problem is, okay? So tell me as much as you can about what's going on. Don't say the second one because they're randomized, okay? And you have unlimited attempts, so I'm not going to look through 50 attempts trying to figure out which number 2 we're talking about, okay? For example, copy and paste the entire problem into an email. Now, don't just send it to me. Here's the problem. Dr. Joan, work it. Right? No, that's not how it works. You say, here are the steps that I'm going through. Here's the formula that I tried to use. Here I put x equals 3, something that's, and I said that p equals 0.5. Tell me exactly what you're doing. The more you tell me, the more that I'm able to say back to you, oh, I see you got those backwards. X is supposed to be 0.5. Not really, okay, but anyway, maybe I'll say something like that. Now, sometimes, and I completely understand this, you may say, I cannot get started. I see this problem, and I am just stuck. I don't have a formula because I don't understand what kind of problem it is. That's okay to say that. When you say that to me, what I can say back to you is, look at this part, let's consider these things, and so we can identify it, because that is part of the problem-solving process, the ability to recognize, oh, okay, this is a discrete probability, this is a binomial, this is, so identifying it is half the battle, quite frankly. Sometimes just a math mistake. So the more you tell me, I put this in, I said, don't just say, and I got the answer and it was 52 and it said it was wrong. you say, you know what, I multiplied this times this, and this is the answer I got. After I did that, I divided by this number, and this is the answer I got. Sometimes you do get tired, and we do get weary, and it takes a second pair of eyes to look at your work and say, oh, did you realize you transposed those two numbers? Did you realize that 5 times 5 is not 137? Did you realize that? You know, and you'll be like, oh, right? We have all been there. We have all been there. The point being, though, send me the whole problem, because the wording, if you say it said something like, that's not the same as exactly the problem, and seeing, and that sometimes is the point of what's leading you off track. Okay, so the more information you tell me, the more detailed I can be in my response. I don't solve the problem for you, but I can definitely get you over a hurdle or point you in the right direction. Okay, so hopefully those resources will help as we go forward, and most importantly, do really well in this test. You guys are making me nervous because so many of you have not started, so make sure you get out there and do that. Thank you very much, folks. Keep working hard. I appreciate all you're doing.